I got to hear about this guitar.
Wow. Well, it's one of the Ibanez Pat Metheny models. You know, the PM.
Yeah. Which at this point he came out with that signature. Gosh, it's got to be like 35.
I was gonna say 30-ish, but yeah, you're probably right. Like maybe longer.
Been around a while.
So there's been a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of different shapes, different colors, but this is kind of his number one. It's got a Charlie Christian pickup in it.
How cool.
And just an amazing sound. You know, what else is unique about it? He calls it the 175. We all call it the 175.
Sure, that's where it all started.
That's where it all started.
Yeah.
And you know, the family of Gibson guitars he loves, and he's got a lot of old Gibsons. Yeah, just a really great, it's a beautiful jazz box. What can we say?
Okay, tell me about that low string.
What
is that?
Well, before I forget too, the Charlie Christian pickup, it's also got a microphone in there.
Right.
Yeah, all his guitars have, just about all of them have 2 signals, and we got XLR and a 1/4 inch. He's got a microphone in there to get that beautiful sound of the body of a guitar.
Right.
And that's especially significant on the acoustic guitars.
Sure.
Incredible thing. So something people should check out. So the strings on here, it's this low string. He wanted to do some bass lines this year. So we experimented with like a 68, a 74, and finally we got to 80, and he said, "Yeah, that's the gauge." And
how did you deal with that? I mean, like, how?
A lot of just trial and error.
Yeah. What is it tuned to?
We work with Dario, who's great and takes care of us, and you guys too. And so I kept calling Andy and Steve, "Hey, send me some 78. Send me some." So we kept trying and maxed out what the tuning machine could fit.
Yeah.
And then Mike and the good people at Ibanez sent me a custom tuning machine.
Oh.
They drilled it out. So that's an 80. I think I can maybe get like an 82 or something in there, and then you got to yank it through. But it's an 80 flat wound.
Wow.
And it sounds great.
What's it tuned to? What do you do?
It's an octave down E.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
So otherwise standard tuning.
Crazy.
Yeah. Usually he's got like a 52 in the bottom.
Huh.
But yeah, so that's really cool. And the ball end, you know, it's right there. And the nut behaves. I didn't have to do anything with the nut. It hangs in there. Pat's always experimenting with gauges, you know. He'll just say, you know, as a lot of guitarists do, but he especially does it because he's looking at the tone, he's looking at how things ring. On the Picasso, which we'll take a look at.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of changes on that on the low strings to get it where it is. So
great.
But yeah, this is oh yeah, one more thing too we were talking about before. This thing right here, it's got a little piece of rubber to protect. People have seen early pictures of Pat with a toothbrush there,
right,
or a pencil. People ask me all the time.
Yeah.
This is, I don't have a cable right here, but this is to hang the cable off.
I'm glad you cleared up that mystery.
So it doesn't,
because I never knew what that toothbrush on that 175 was about.
None of us did. Right? I went for years like, why does he have a toothbrush?
Yeah.
But yeah, so there we go. So another Pat Metheny model, a few years or older. This one, of course, with the single humbucker. They all have the mic in there, so there's the mic mount.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
What strings? Okay, so this is in standard tuning.
Standard tuning.
So this is, of all the guitars you can see, this is the first like standard.
Just a standard guitar. Well, and then it's got the strap holder thing there. Yeah. The cable holder thing.
Yeah, standard for Pat Metheny. Yeah.
It's there's so many string gauges in my brain. I've got a chart actually. I'll send you guys the chart. Yeah. This is probably 11 to 52, like 11, 15, 30, 38. Diodarios, these Diodarios, they're great. We love the NYXLs. I mean, that really was.
Man, they cracked the code on that one.
You know, there's hype, and every string company says, "Oh, And when I first tried those, I was like, these feel different, and then they last a long time.
Yeah.
He loves them because they break in, and then they kind of hit a plateau where they're really great for a long time.
How long does he like to run on a set of strings?
You know, he leans towards, it's kind of a jazz guy, kind of a blues guy thing, like leave him on there, you know, leave a little sweat. So I kind of balance that line. You know, they sound great when they're fresh.
Right.
So I'll talk to him about it. And some guitars he wants changed a little quicker.
So like when you feel like some tuning issues, you change.
That's pretty much the line.
Yeah.
That's when I say, hey, you know, on that one or this one. And he's like, yeah, fine, you know, whatever. Of course, like anyone that plays nylon string, we leave those. Those just season and age well. But the main guitar, the jazz guitar, we change them pretty regularly, yeah. Especially with the trio when we're on the road and playing pretty long sets. Those get changed every couple days. The Roland maybe once a week, because that's maybe even every 10 days sometimes.
Yeah, I
because
don't
he'll
even
play
know.
that.
I don't know why they'd even make a difference on that.
Well, yeah, you know, they're regular guitar strings, and again, whenever we're using it in the trio, he plays it as a regular guitar briefly in the piece usually, and then cranks up the synth.
Yeah.
It's actually a really good guitar. It's like a mid-70s Yamaha with a double cutaway, that kind of heavy wood.
Sure.
It's Les Paulish a little lighter. It's a nice guitar as just a guitar. So we keep those fresh. But and then the acoustics, let those go a little longer too. He likes those kind of beat up and sounding warm. But yeah, another Pat Metheny model.
Okay.
And this one's on a stand. We use these K&M stands that are great. You know, they make an electric and a acoustic
the stand,
one.
because he's moving on this show.
Yeah.
Jumping between all of them.
All these different guitars as he sets up his MIDI clips and MIDI loops or audio loops in Ableton. So he's moving from instrument to instrument. This is just one of them, so he can have one on his back or run over to it real quick.
Wild.
Yeah.
Okay.